More than anyone else, we know that Zionists cannot stand Tucker Carlson. And it turns out Tucker Carlson actually got even bigger and he became even more well liked. And they want justice for that. But the truth, obviously, is never what Zionists are concerned with. There is going to be a day when we all get to puff our chests out, stand tall, and recognize that we, the American people, triumphed over the Israel lobby.
Well, what can we say? The Zionists are out in full force. You know, the usual suspects, Lindsey Graham, Ben Shapiro, Randy Fine, all demanding that we cancel Tucker Carlson, with Randy Fine calling him the most dangerous anti-Semite in America. That's true. That's an exact quote. I'm not even hyperbolizing here. So in this clip, Candace Owens explains why they're wrong, why this is frankly idiotic, and what Americans can take from this, knowing that these tactics just aren't working anymore. So let's watch. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
MAGA civil war, at least that's what they are trying to brand it as. They say that's what's going on. But really, we all know it's more like never Trumpers have now infiltrated the MAGA movement and they're trying to dictate the terms like we didn't notice. Randomly, Ben Shapiro apparently woke up this morning and chose violence. He put me in his anti-Tucker montage monologue. We'll see what he had to say in a little bit. And it just so happens to be exactly what every Zionist has had to say in the last 24 to 48 hours, almost as though it's scripted. So obviously a major theme of this podcast is that everything truly is fake and gay. And people that listen to this podcast have already accepted that. The question really is just, now, how fake are we talking? What shade of gayness are we talking? And I think we should start with the Lindsey Graham shade, which he threw at American voters. So what happened was he was on stage at the Republican Jewish Coalition. Okay, he and many others, by the way, many other treasonous congressmen.
I love her, by the way, and she's so right. Many of these people were never Trumpers going back to 2016. Some of them have found their way into Trump's ear by, carefully managing his ego, steering him toward bombing Iran, flirting with regime change in Venezuela right now. And Lindsey Graham's one of those. He golfs with Trump routinely. Trump campaigns for him. He's endorsed him, but is dragging Thomas Massie. What do you know?
Basically directed their fire and their anger toward Americans, letting us know, basically, not even basically, literally telling us that if you do not support Israel, a foreign nation, then you're not even allowed to be a Republican anymore. Take a listen to Lindsey Graham in his own words.
I want the world to know anti-Semitism, anti-Israel rhetoric, anti-Israel thought is not the road to being elected as a Republican. You will lose.
There's like two people clapping. It reminded me of that Jeb Bush moment, please clap. I mean, it's not totally untrue. That does, lead a lot of Republicans to success. They feel that they have to toe that line. But at the same time, you have courageous heroes like Thomas Massie, where AIPAC threw $400,000 at his last primary opponent to try to unseat him. And he still won. They're going to bring even more of that energy this time in 2026, no doubt. But the times are changing, man. This isn't your grandfather's GOP. There's a schism right now over Israel in the right and in the MAGA movement. We're seeing that play out in every single poll. So, I'm with Breitbart in that politics is downstream from culture. We might be seeing a little bit different of a tune soon.
You can't even have an anti-Israel thought. So if you're thinking like, I don't know, killing tens of thousands of children is not good. Whew. Well, guess what? It ain't the road to the Republican Party. Really great messaging, Senator. And he obviously was not the only one, because we know how these things go. He was joined on stage by many others, including the very genocidal Randy Fine. Randy Fine, just to be clear, he has been so disgusting in his rhetoric towards Palestinians, saying essentially that they're just not even truly humans, that even AIPAC had to drop him. That's saying a lot. If AIPAC was like, you went a little too far for even us.
That is true. I mean, AIPAC didn't drop him per se. They stopped featuring him on their website. They didn't issue a statement that, hey, we consider this genocidal language when it came to him. But at the same time, she's right about that. It takes a lot to drop Randy Fine if you're AIPAC and you want to cheerlead for this genocide in Gaza, endless support for Israel, a regime change war against Iran. continuing to bankroll this rogue state that stole our nuclear weapons, that doesn't have to register under FARA in Congress to influence our representatives. It's a foreign scheme to rob Americans of their sovereignty, very much so.
Irrespective of this, Randy decided that he, I guess, is the arbiter of the new cool kids club. Like, you know, we should all want to sit with them, support Israel, or you can't sit with us. Can't sit with me, Randy Fine, and Lindsey Graham. And to show us just how hip and motivated and relevant they are, they sent some poor interns. It looks like they sent some poor interns down to FedEx or Kinko's or UPS to print out these totally organic red signs. And the signs read, I don't know how he's going to get over this. So, Tucker, if you need to take a couple of days off, we get it. But the sign said, Tucker Carlson is not MAGA. There's something about it that's so dorky. Sick burn. Tucker Carlson is not MAGA. And it sounds so inauthentic that you know it didn't come from anybody that was originally MAGA. This is like when Homeboy, who was the guy in Jesse Smollett went out and he was like, they said to me, this is MAGA country. And we were like, nobody in MAGA says this is MAGA country. No.
He's so right, man. God bless her. And this is so true. This was so astroturfed if you see this video and them holding up the signs and trying to pump up the audience to what that super villain genocidal freak Randy Fine is saying. And there's like one or two people in the crowd that are like, oh, I guess I'm gonna clap. And everyone else just sitting there stunned. This is so orchestrated, so fake, and no one's going to buy into it. We just have to ridicule and laugh at it. Let's do it.
One in MAGA would say, Tucker Carlson is not MAGA. It's just it's a very strange thing to say. It's very dorky. And they said it. They did it. And beyond that, besides printing out these little red posters, they gave those posters to some young men. I'm sure they're very nice young men. And they instructed them to wave the posters on stage while Randy Fine, of all people, spoke. Like he was the Spice Girls going back on stage. Woo! Tucker Carlson is not MAGA. You go, Randy Fine. And Randy Fine was getting them all fired up.
Yeah, waving signs that say Tucker Carlson is not MAGA is like waving signs that says Randy Fine is not obese. Like, people just don't buy this. It's not going to work. And again, we just have to laugh at it.
And he said the usual thing. Tucker Carlson is basically akin to, you're going to be shocked, you guessed it, Adolf Hitler. So original. Take it away, Randy Fine.
But make no mistake, today, Tucker Carlson is the most dangerous anti-Semite in America.
Ooh, dangerous.
He has chosen to take on the mantle of leader of a modern-day Hitler Youth, to broadcast and feature those who celebrate the Nazis, those who call for the extermination of Israel, to defend Hamas, to even criticize President Trump for stopping Iran's nuclear ambitions. Friends, make no mistake, Tucker is not MAGA.
Look at this. Look at that. There's no one clapping there. I can't even believe this is real, guys. I swear this isn't AI. This was an actual speech that he actually delivered. The most dangerous anti-Semite in America, leading a modern-day Hitler Youth organization. It never fails, man, but that's what's to be expected from Randy Fine, the guy who once asked by someone on Twitter, like, how can you sleep at night when you're supporting the atrocities that Israel's committing against Palestinians? And they featured a picture of, a dead child being pulled up from rubble, which is ghastly. I hate to even reference that because it frankly keeps me up to think about that at night. But he said, just fine, thank you. That's the kind of guy we're dealing with here. The kind of guy that his fans call the Hebrew Hammer. Well, I'm thankful for the heroic journalist Max Blumenthal for confronting him on Capitol Hill and says, it seems like more that you're the Hebrew scammer. And that's the truth.
It is so over for Tucker Carlson. I mean, he must be shaking. I'm literally shaking right now. Just shaking listening to it. It's just over. They have declared war on Tucker Carlson, which they happen to do every week, obviously. And they all say the same thing, which shows how inorganic it is. It's like Operation Mocking Pastor. And it was very clear that they were instructed to go after Tucker.
Yeah, it's the same thing they did for his eulogy, his story, talking about Jesus Christ and the people that wanted to put him to death, saying that was anti-Semitic too. You know, they've done this time and time again, just for hosting Nick Fuentes. They do this for doing that, for hosting Dave Smith, for talking to Scott Horton about U.S. foreign policy. It's just another excuse to call him Hitler, say he's an anti-Semite, which is ridiculous. And Americans see it as such. We're not going back to their old school political paradigm where the Zionists and neocons reign supreme. I'm sorry to tell you that, Lindsey Graham and Randy Fine. We're just not doing it. We've run that experiment. Americans don't like it. It's inorganic, and it's not something Americans are going to follow, no matter how hard you try to astroturf us in that direction. We just aren't buying it.
More than anyone else, we know that Zionists cannot stand Tucker Carlson. And the real reason that they hate him is because he's very well liked now by both sides. And he also happens to not be controlled. You can always tell who they control because they don't condemn them, even when they, like Randy Fine, just come right out with genocidal language against the Palestinians, referring to them as subhuman, laughing when he sees a dead body of a Palestinian. They don't care. They support it. They cover it up. But Tucker Carlson, oh no, he's having conversations with people that they don't like. It's that simple as to why they go after him. That's also why they fired him from Fox, because he was speaking out against the Ukrainian war, and that was not allowed. They thought that firing him would effectively ruin him, and he wouldn't be able to secure another big contract within the apparatus that they very much control. And it turns out Tucker Carlson actually got even bigger, and he became even more well-liked.
That is just true. They've Streisand affected the hell out of that guy, by the way. Just like they've Streisand affected the hell out of Nick Fuentes. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's by an attempt by people to try to denigrate someone by speaking badly against them. But really that just puts a spotlight on that person and their views, and maybe, you know, makes people be incentivized to explore those views when otherwise they wouldn't have. And that's what they've done exactly to Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. But that's not even the biggest irony here. The biggest irony is this is what exactly the liberal establishment did to people like Ben Shapiro and like Steven Crowder and like some of these right-wing activists, right-wing pundits, if you want to call them, that are Israel firsters now, some of them, especially people like Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin. You know, they said these people can't be talked to, they can't be platformed, they're racist, they're sexist, they're transphobes, etc. Well, that mentality used to work. It used to ruin people's lives. But more and more every single year, that just leads people to, hey, say, what are they talking about? I don't like these people. Who are they enemies with? I'm going to explore the ideas of their enemies. And that's exactly what you're seeing with people like Nick Fuentes. We're not supposed to speak with this guy or platform this guy. It's like, screw you. You guys have talked to communists, tankies, people that are trans kids activists arguing that, you know, there should be child sex changes. And this guy is too much. This guy with impure thoughts. And I have my differences with him, but, you know, you're going to say that that's the line. You can talk to all these other people, debate with all these other people, push back against all these other people, but not Nick Fuentes. Well, that just accepts all of the liberal premises, all the conventions of the American left. And I know dissident leftists, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about, you know, the establishment types that don't want ideas debated.
And they want justice for that. And the way that they are going about it right now, though, is especially sickening. They're now trying to roll Charlie Kirk's legacy into this. We all know, as I proved, that these same individuals were squeezing Charlie Kirk leading up to the end of his life. They wanted, again, Tucker Carlson to be gone, no longer allowed on the Turning Point USA stage, because Tucker is the natural heir to the populist movement. And they want him to be canceled. Only people that they control are allowed to be in positions of power. So
yeah, that's exactly right. Robert Shillman pulled $2 million donation from Turning Point USA because Charlie Kirk maintained Tucker Carlson is going to speak at our December event in 2025. Tucker reported on that. Max Blumenthal revealed that. That has been confirmed. Because they didn't want Tucker Carlson on the stage. They don't want anyone that's even remotely critical of Israel. And he's not the most critical of Israel. Candace Owens is, and 48 hours before Charlie Kirk died, he texted, well, you know, we're having these problems with these Zionist donors, they're saying in this text group, this chat group, I should say. And he said, I think we're going to invite Candace Owens now. Not let's try to, you know, ease the tensions and try to give these Zionist donors what they want. No, Candace Owens now in addition to Tucker Carlson. That's just the truth. No one can refute that.
Recently, Tucker interviewed Nick Fuentes. The reason he did that, I've heard, is because it happens to be a free country and it's his platform and he can speak to whoever the hell he wants in the world. But of course, with Zionists, the very same ones who were causing Charlie Kirk all of that grief in the final days and hours leading up to his assassination, the very same ones that Charlie thought were going to kill him, they've now decided to besmirch Charlie's name by asserting that Tucker interviewing Nick Fuentes is a betrayal to Charlie. He's no longer Charlie's friend. They've decided posthumously that Tucker Carlson was a bad friend to Charlie Kirk. And do you know who can actually debunk that pretty easily? Yours truly. I got you guys, okay? And it's just a little bit of common sense. Before Charlie died, really kind of just before he died in July, I interviewed Nick Fuentes. And Charlie and I discussed the interview, and never once did he tell me not to speak to Nick Fuentes. Never once did he consider it an act of betrayal. To the contrary, I had a very long discussion with him. I also had a long discussion with Andrew Colvett separately, telling them both that Charlie should host Nick Fuentes on his show and debate him. I tried to make that happen.
I would have loved to seen that happen, by the way. That's what a lot of people wanted on both sides of that question, even people that supported Charlie Kirk on the Israel issue more than they did Nick Fuentes. And same thing with the Groypers toward Charlie Kirk. This was talked about endlessly. A lot of us would want to see this. But what Candace is saying now is really one of the reasons that I respect her so much. She didn't like Nick Fuentes. She had a very tense interview with him, and that's maybe to say the least. They had a schism over that interview. They are still at odds with each other. So it would have been so easy for her to just say, I don't care about this. I'm not covering this story. But no. She's saying, you know, this guy's arrived and Tucker should be able to talk to him, you know, push back against him, which he did. None of these Zionists, I think, even viewed that and saw where Tucker was saying, well, it's unchristian to blame, you know, Israel's atrocities on Judaism. But, you know, Candace Owens shows professionalism and maturity in a way that I think few people would give her credit for. But I think people that know her see that in her and, you know, are pretty, I don't know, encouraged by it. I am.
You guys will recall this. Andrew Kovac can confirm that everything that I am saying is true. Oh, it's such an act of betrayal to speak to Nick Fuentes. Never at any point did Charlie say, don't do that, because that's ridiculous. It's not who he was. But the truth, obviously, is never what Zionists are concerned with. They want Charlie's legacy by any means necessary. They want people to believe that his legacy belongs to Israel somehow. And the harder that they work to lie about his legacy, the more the world wakes up to the truth about it. They are waking up to the truth about how Charlie really felt. It's just becoming too obvious. There is going to be a day when we all get to puff our chests out, stand tall, and recognize that we, the American people, triumphed over the Israel lobby. That's all I'm going to say about that. We'll be right back.
Well, amen. I can't wait for that day. And this is Candace Owens truly at her best. I think she is so correct about saying the more and more the Zionists behave this way, the more and more Americans are waking up. I mean, nothing showed that more than the last 2 years. The fact that there's been a 50-point swing in terms of sympathy toward the Palestinians over Israel's atrocities. The fact that so many people, including vast swaths of the American right, did not want to bomb Iran, when that was a top prerogative, a top aim of the neocon Zionist class. It has been since at least George W. Bush. It was before that, actually. And we're just saying enough is enough. These Zionists are playing an old game. They're playing the old neocon game, thinking that they can still just ruin people this way. That, you know, if we put Tucker Carlson down, call him the most dangerous Zionist in the United States, well, that'll show them. That'll ruin them. Now they'll see. It's just so preposterous. They're stuck in their old ways. They're playing a different game than the rest of us that are, floating above them by 2 miles. Actually seeing the world for what it is and how it operates now with a new independent media that, actually tells the truth, sometimes gives American options on what to follow, what to pay attention to. I mean, every single truth seeker has to make the following clear. The Zionists have lost. We're not going to continue this Israel first charade. We're not going back. And you're going to cancel Tucker Carlson over our dead bodies. It's not going to work. Everything you try to throw at him is not going to stick, even if you say that he's in charge of leading a new Hitler youth movement. It's so absurd. I'm glad Candace recognizes it. And like I said, I want to give her double credit for taking this strong stance on this issue, despite her own personal misgivings toward Nick Fuentes. She's standing on truth. She's standing for free speech, free association, and we're not going back from that line. This is the hill. This is our hill, America first, whether you're a distant leftist, distant right-winger, distant libertarian like me, we can all collaborate on this, if nothing else. That's what I have to say. But I do want to hear from you. Let me know down below, do you agree with Candace Owens? Do you agree with me? Is this charade over? Is this going to work? Are they going to be able to cancel Tucker Carlson? Or are we just in a new frontier where that's just impossible now? Let me know in the comments down below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Candace Owens, a true hero for covering this story with the absolute right 100% opinion, in my estimation. And if you like this video, please consider becoming a YouTube member of mine. You can do that by clicking the join button below. If you do that, I'll give you access to all my videos before they go live to the general public on YouTube. All the members only videos right now, you'll be able to see if you do that. Also, if you want a free copy of my first book, Compact of the Republic, click the link down below. You'll get shot off to a site, plug in your email, and I'll send it right to you free of charge. That tells the story of how America was once a bastion of decentralized political power that didn't get into Israel first entangling alliances across the planet, and how America thrived under that situation compared to now when we engage in all these empire building schemes to the American people's peril. And until I see you guys next time, no more war, no more debt, no more inflation, and no more empire. Peace out, guys. Catch you in the next one.